What's poppin', TJ Unbox? Welcome back to a brand new video. This is my highest requested video I've ever had. It is going to be a walkthrough of all the modifications I've done to my 2023 Hyundai Elantra SEL Convience. So here is the car. I'm going to have links for basically everything I've used on this car. Some things you can't really buy, you either have to find someone to do or do it yourself. It's a little bit harder. But yeah, and all of the modifications I've done don't really interfere with the warranty on the Elantra. If you guys know, Hyundai has a really generous warranty, and we don't mess with any of the engine components. I've only done a couple electrical mods, nothing with splicing wires. All of it's just plug and play, but it makes your car look like this. But if you see, it's still very, very glossy. And one of the reasons it is so glossy is right when I purchased the car, I took it home and I ended up installing my own ceramic coat. And what a ceramic coat is it's a sacrificial layer. You basically put it on. It's similar to a wax, but instead of being wax and that can be rubbed off, the ceramic coat is actually similar to like an epoxy, and it basically coats your car with a very thin layer, and it will help protect your car from light scratches. If you go through some dirt or some dust, or if you're washing your car, you might accidentally scrape it and scratch it. But instead of scratching the clear coat or going through wax, the ceramic coat just adds extra protection. And you can also put wax on top of the ceramic coat, which I will be doing before winter time. And it's extraordinarily helpful when I'm cleaning my car. I have a water bottle. I'll just pour some water, and you can just see all of it just goes right off. And this is literally months after I've had this car with the ceramic coat. The next upgrade I did was I installed these badge covers. So I didn't really like having the big silver emblem on this black car. I noticed that was very distracting when you look at it and all the pictures. So I got these covers. These fit completely flush. It doesn't replace your emblem. It just has sticky 3M on the inside, and that covers it there. It also came with the back Hyundai badge, so that also blacks it out, and also the steering wheel Hyundai badge it covers up. So those were really easy mods, and all of the things that I've done are pretty easy to undo in case you want to sell your car, or if you don't like the mods. They're all pretty easy. They don't damage your car, so that is another thing to keep in mind with all the mods I'm going to be showing you. So I also want to talk about one of the coolest things I think I've done. This is a splitter for the car. I had to have my friend help me use jacks to lift this up, but it doesn't really add anything beneficial besides like a little bit of downforce. Not really. It's more of just an aesthetic upgrade. It makes the car look a little bit lower when you're at the ground. And this was fairly cheap. It was really easy to install. There's just some screws on the bottom and also some sticky stuff. But yeah, it looks very good, very clean, and pretty affordable. And it just adds like a really aggressive look to the car. I've gotten a lot of comments ever since I did that, just because it looks so great. Another thing you can tell from the outside of the car is I do have tints on this car. During certain times of the day, the tints look darker, but in the front I have 35%, like light goes through 35%, and in the back I have 25%, so only 20% of light goes through. And you can see it looks very dark right now. From the inside, it looks pretty easy to see through. But yeah, I really like the way that looks, and also in the back, it just makes it super flush, super clean, very sporty, and yeah, the black just looks great. Another thing I did was I replaced these little panel covers. So originally they come as a matte plastic. This is the exact material that it looks like. You can see my car's a little dusty. But this is the exact material that would be right here, and right here. And I didn't really like that because it didn't add to the gloss. The paint is very glossy, the windows are very glossy. So I got these sticker packs. They come with all the sides. They have these two, that back piece, and then the same on the other side. So I ended up getting those. They're really easy to install. They just stick onto the side. You can see a little bit of a gap right here that happens on them, but it just makes it look very gloss black, and I really like that. And again, super easy to install, and if you ever need to remove them, that is also very easy to do. I will be getting an extra cover right here pretty soon. That's just a mod I'm working on. And another little mod is I added a blind spot mirror. This helps so much with visibility. You're able to see a lot more cars when you're driving. I've noticed since you don't have a back window right here, and just with the compact style of this car, there can be a couple blind spots when you're turning. So those blind spot mirrors help greatly when you're driving. Also for parking, you can see your little space a little bit easier when you're driving, and that just adds to it really, really well. And since we're on tints, I installed this one myself. I paid someone to do the side tints just because I knew I'd mess it up. They usually cost about $180 to about $300. I paid $200 flat for mine. But yeah, that's what they will about run you when you look for people to do it, or if you decide to do it yourself. I did this top one myself. This is a 5% tint, and that just makes it look a little bit lower since it's gloss black with the top black. It makes it really good. And also when light's coming down from the sun, that top visor really protects me when I'm driving, and I don't need to put down my little mirror flap things up in the side. So that's really great, and I really like it. Let's go turn on the car just so I can show you the lights now, because the lights are really, really impressive. Let's go. Okay, so These headlights come as incandescent on every single model unless you get the N-Line or the Limited, so I ended up replacing them. They were really easy to install. Some people say you have to remove the bumper. I didn't have to do that. I was able to reach my hand around and actually change them out. I'll have a link for those down below if you want to get the right ones that I use. They're really bright, and some people ask why you'd prefer LED over incandescent. Mostly it's like an aesthetic thing. I like that it's a pure white. It's way more modern than an old incandescent that they used to be using cars since like the very beginning. So LEDs are just modern. They use less power, and they also tend to be a lot brighter. You're able to see a lot more. Another thing with this car, you don't actually need to have two bulbs for the high beam and the low beam. You just need one. Since it is a projector light bulb, it actually uses one light bulb for the high beam and the low beam. That's something that's new to me, and I haven't really ever dealt with on my old cars. Another thing I did myself was I actually tinted this top piece. So usually this is like a pure orange, and I didn't really like that because it just made it look like really dorky, I guess. The side markers were really orange, and it just took away from the aesthetic of the car. So I used a 5%, a little bit darker than a 5% tint, but it just blacked that out so it really matches the paint and they don't stand out as much. When the headlights are on, those little side markers are on, so it makes them show a little bit more, but usually it just looks all black, and you kind of saw that when the headlights were off. So let's go around to the back. I installed this full LED bar. I actually made a video on my channel you can check out. I did an aftermarket install of that bar. It is the original part from the Limited and the N-Line, and it fits plug and play in the SEL and the SE. So that is why I did it. But I really like the way that looks. That's one of the reasons I bought the car. And after I bought the SEL Convience, I actually thought it had that LED bar, and I was really upset that it didn't. And I was honestly thinking about getting a different car. But gladly, I found out online, I was actually one of the first people to do this, but I found out that you're able to exchange it with the other models. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. I also did put a taillight cover on. This is just tinting out my license plate a little bit. It's not necessarily the most legal, but it makes it look a lot more stealthy, especially during the day. I know we're filming at night, so it has lights on and stuff, but it just makes it look a lot more, I guess, stealth. It matches the black a little bit more. I also did replace a lot of the lights with LEDs. This is LED light bulbs. They're usually incandescent, but I just like the modern white glow with the red lights. That just looks so cool when you're driving down the interstate highway. Yeah, I'm gonna turn on my flashlight so you guys can see some other mods I've done to the back. Okay, so another thing I did was I actually got these covers for the Elantra, and it comes in carbon fiber. So usually they're bright chrome. You can actually see a little bit of it on the side, and these are just covers that go right over. If you ever need to sell your car, you can always just remove these. Same with the top cover right here. But just by having it blacked out, it looks a lot better than having it super bright and super silvery. I just didn't like that look that much. But yeah, that is what it looks like. And I'm telling you guys, that looks so clean. I know the reds don't really look like they match right now, but in person they match perfectly. It's just on camera. So let me go in and turn on the turn signals. So I also upgraded the turn signals for this car. You can see both of them on. These are LEDs, and LEDs are just so much brighter. These ones are almost too bright. They're extremely blinding, and these are the Lays Fit LED bulbs. I'll have a link for them down below as well. These ones were a little bit more tricky to install. I'll just say I had to reach my hand with some pliers and some clamps and actually twist it off myself, but that did take about 2 hours, honestly, to do. Just because it was so tough to grab. On the back, these ones were super easy to install. I installed these ones myself. Again, these ones are LEDs. These are not Lays Fit. It's another brand that I'll have a link for down below. But it's just a lot brighter. People can see you a lot better. It's a lot flashier. And you get like an instant reactive light instead of it being like a slow build up with an incandescent. I prefer that look. It's really up to what you think. Also, since those were so bright, I actually tinted this turn signal, and I also tinted the reverse light. I bought a pack of tints online, and these were really easy to install. I just sprayed some water and it all went on really well. But you can see now that the lights are off, just how everything looks very sleek, very minimal. You only see those two reflector lights and then the full bar at night. And during the day, it just looks really clean. I know we're filming, it's a little bit later at night, but yeah, it is a pretty fancy car, not gonna lie. I think that about does it for the outside mods. Let's hop inside and we can take a look at the mods that I've done to the car. Okay, so we are on the inside. These, I have the replacements to do LED, but I haven't installed them yet, but that is something I need to do. I ended up finding this carbon fiber wrap online. You can see it just changed out the plastic. The car's dirty, sorry. And I also have carbon fiber here, also in there. So I have a bunch of random carbon fiber spots. It didn't necessarily fit my car the best, but certain parts worked better than others for that kit. I'll have a link for that down below, hopefully, if I can find it. And I also got this from Amazon. This is a carbon fiber cover. It just uses these things, and it makes it a little bit softer right here. And it also makes it look like it's carbon fiber, so that's really cool. And I really, really like that. This part also is carbon fiber, so it's just a couple pieces that could be replaced with carbon fiber. I think right here is carbon fiber too. So it's really up to you, whatever you prefer to have carbon fiber. But the kit had a lot of custom pieces that fit perfectly, and some of them didn't fit perfectly. But let me turn on the car so we can see some of the lights in here. The car is pretty dirty, but I did install this little blue EL wire strip. This is a very simple mod that I've made videos on in the past, but it just makes it look a little bit more futuristic. A lot of BMWs, Audis, Mercedes have that. And the reason I went with blue on the interior was because it already has a lot of blue lights. These are all blue from the factory. These are blue, so I wanted to keep it in that blue theme. And I also have underglow for all the footwells in the driver, the passenger, and also in the back, but the back is dirty. Same with this whole car. I probably should have cleaned it before this video, but and that just really adds to the vibe of the car just because all the blue really matches. I really like the way that it looks. I do want to show you the blind spot mirrors a little bit. I don't know if the camera's going to be able to pick it up, but the blind spot mirrors are right here. So when I'm driving, I can just look out and I'm able to see a little bit better. Like you can just see this mirror really doesn't show anything, but this one does. It shows that there is that little concrete barrier there, and it helps with parking, and it also just helps with driving when you're driving around with this little car. And I also have this CarLink wireless AirPlay adapter, so I'm actually able to use CarLink through my Apple phone to the little head unit right here. So that's really easy. Instead of having to use the cable all the time, I'm able to use this. I really only use it with long road trips and people need to use my cable to charge their phone. But yeah, it's really convenient that I'm able to do wireless CarPlay. It does take about 30 seconds to connect to your phone, but it tends to be pretty nice that you're able to control it wirelessly with your Apple Maps and your music. This light I did install. This one's LED. It's usually incandescent, but yeah, it's pretty nice that I have that little light up there. I think that's about all the mods I've done to this car. I have a lot more. I have LED reverse lights I didn't show you. But yeah, it basically upgrading all the LEDs, making it a little bit more modern, making it a little bit more stealthy. I guess another thing, I have a radar detector. That's something I've had with all my cars ever since I got my first car. I've had a radar detector. It really just helps when you're driving around, if you're on the interstate, making sure you know where the cops are scanning. But yeah. That's about all the mods in this car. I haven't really done anything else like electrical, any other big modifications, and I'll have links for everything. Let me know what you think about this down below. I might make an updated video about this in the next month or two once I get some more mods for the car, because I do want a couple other things I've seen online. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.